There is, of course, tremendous congressional interest in what has been launched this day. CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins me for what we have heard from significant and leading members of Congress. CHB, what do we know?
Hey, Major. Well, first of all, we know that Secretary of State Marco Rubio called all members of the Gang of Eight, reached all but one of them. This is the group of leadership members with the highest security clearances on Capitol Hill. That is a significant development. But what also is the question facing lawmakers, but also questions I think a lot of Americans have, is can the president do this without Congress specifically authorizing it? Now, I cover Congress, and I have been for a while now, and what I can say is essentially this president, as has Presidents Obama, Biden in the past, relied on a nearly 25-year-old document authorizing the use of force. And Major, I want to show you what this document is. This was passed in the days after 9/11 in 2001. It's a one-page, 60-word document that gives broad authority to the executive. And this has been the rationale to be used for these kinds of strikes in the past, used by Presidents Biden and Obama and President Trump in the past as well. This has existed for nearly 25 years, and presidents rely on this. Now, there was another authorization passed in 2002 pertaining to the Iraq War. That was just repealed last year and signed into law by the president. But this other document remains, and that's what they refer to. Now, what we need, what Congress wants to know and what they're responding to is very nuanced, Major. A lot of times this comes on partisan lines, and we've seen partisan statements in reaction. But I do think it's interesting to note some of the nuances within the parties here. Not all Democrats are critical of this move. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, for example, came out praising it. Others have said that Congress needs to weigh in and be consulted. But even some members of leadership have been a little more tempered in their responses. It was notable to hear from Senator Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic minority leader, who said that the president has not made clear the scope and immediacy of this threat. He's risking a wider conflict, in his words, and he needs to brief a full Congress. But there are some Democrats who do believe that Iran is a bad actor, as they say, that they're a state sponsor of terror, and they haven't been as critical of this maneuver as you may expect. You also have Republicans, by and large, in unison with the president, but others like Thomas Massie, a noted anomaly within his party who has sponsored a war powers resolution, has been critical. And I want to talk about that war powers resolution, Major, because I don't think it falls neatly into partisan lines either. We know that Massie and Ro Khanna, a Democrat, are trying to force this vote on the House floor next week, but there are likely going to be Democrats who oppose it. You just spoke with Josh Gottheimer, a moderate Democrat. He has said as recently as a few days ago that he would oppose this kind of thing. So it's not exactly neat, but Congress has been bypassed for a while now, preceding this administration, and it doesn't appear to at least at this point, that they have the votes to change that.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much.